Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for March 16th. We're going to take a look at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. This pair formed an inside bar today, closed as a doji bar, so we definitely could have a breakout during this next session. This pair is moving sideways and has a bias that is sideways as well. We are expecting this pair, however, to move possibly as high as 99.45 and potentially as low as 96.64. Now make sure to look for resistance around 98.64 and look for some support around 97.44 in this particular pair. Now switching over to the Euro USD, this pair moved much higher today and then pulled back prior to the close. It did still close higher. However, this pair is overall moving sideways. I know it doesn't look like it, but if you back out a little ways, it is definitely still moving sideways to some degree. We have a potential for a breakout of previous resistance here coming soon. But let's zoom in a little bit. Bias is definitely to the upside currently. We are expecting this pair to move as high as 132.06 and potentially as low as 127.14. Look for some resistance around 130.69 and look for some support around 129.00. Now switching to the pound US dollar pair, this particular pair is moving sideways, biased to the upside, closed up for the previous session. We are expecting this pair to move as high as 148.88 and potentially as low as 137.05. Look for some resistance around 141.50 and look for some support around 139.50 in this particular pair. Now switching to the US Swiss, this pair closed down today. It is moving sideways. We are expecting this pair to move as high as 120.10 and potentially as low as 117.01. Look for some resistance around 118.85 and look for support around 118.00 in this particular pair. Now, what am I looking for during this next session? Let's take a look at the US-Japanese yen pair. This particular pair formed an inside bar, so I'm definitely looking for a breakout of this particular pair. So take the high and the low, basically looking for a buy above 98.66 and looking for a short below 97.12. If you have a trend system, this is a good time to drop down to a lower time frame and take any of those trades, trend trades, beyond those points. Now, another trade that I'm looking at is another inside bar in the US Canadian dollar pair. This pair, we're looking for any buys above 128.42 and anything below 126.24. Looking for sells. Now, our last but not least, looking at the Euro Australian dollar pair. You may recall from yesterday we had a swing trade that was not triggered during this session. However, we did create an inside bar, and so we are looking for a breakout of this particular pair. Now, looking for any buys above 197.91 and looking for any shorts below 195.51. Look for an exit on this short here at 194.88, and this is looking for 63 pips. Use a risk to reward ratio of 1:1. I got another email today about, A guy asked if we're using a 1:1 risk to reward ratio, then at 50% accuracy we will break even, and actually you'll do less than break even due to the spreads. But these setups generate better accuracy than the 50%. And if if the market comes down, let's say it breaks lower and comes down 50 pips, just because I give you an exit or a potential exit doesn't mean that you have to leave your stop at a 1:1 risk to reward ratio, or that you have to not move your stop to break even, or do the rest of the trade. You know, these are just picks that I'm looking at, or alerts that I'm looking at, trades that I'm looking at taking. I'm trying to basically letting you know what I'm thinking, and which pairs I'm looking at, and potentially where you could get in and where you could potentially get out. That doesn't mean that you can leave your brain at home when you go to do these. You definitely need to use some judgment when executing these trades, just as any trader should with executing any trade. Now, with that said, we do have the Eurozone released their CPI today, and it came out better, or came in as expected at 1.2%. Now, the Eurozone has their German ZEW survey for March. It's basically their economic sentiment. That's being released at 6 a.m. Consensus is that it has dropped significantly from negative 5.8 to negative 8. Now, the Eurozone also has their survey for the economic sentiment for March being released at 6 a.m. also, and it's dropped significantly as well from negative 8.7 down to negative 12. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.